In the middle of a noisy city, where cars never stopped honking and people were always in a hurry, there lived a quiet young man named Elior. He was the kind of person no one noticed. He didn't talk much, didn't hang out with friends, and didn't like crowded places. He spent most of his time alone, with his old guitar and his headphones. Every evening, when the sky turned dark and the city lights began to shine, Elior climbed up to the roof of his small apartment building. From there, he could see the whole city spread out below him like a sea of light. It was the only place where he felt free. He would sit there, close his eyes, and play soft melodies on his guitar. The tunes were calm, but full of hidden feelings. Pain, hope, and something deeper that even he couldn't explain. People who passed by on the street sometimes heard his music drifting down from above. Some smiled, some ignored it. Others thought it was just another city sound. No one knew that the music carried something powerful, something ancient that was waiting to be awakened. Elior lived a simple life. During the day, he worked at a small music shop fixing instruments. He never complained, never argued. He was polite but distant. His co-workers often whispered behind his back, "That guy's strange, always quiet. Yeah, but he plays good. You ever hear him at night?" "No, man. I got better things to do." But there was one old man, Mr. Harlan, who noticed something in him. He owned the music shop and had seen many musicians come and go, but none played with such emotion. One evening, as Elior closed the shop, Mr. Harlan asked, "Son, where did you learn to play like that?" Elior looked up, surprised. "I didn't," he said softly. "I just play what I feel," the old man nodded slowly. "Then keep playing, boy. Sometimes the world listens in ways we can't see." Elior didn't understand what he meant, but he smiled faintly and went home. That night, the wind was different, cold, sharp, and filled with whispers. Clouds gathered above the city, glowing faintly with electric blue light. Elior sat on his rooftop, holding his guitar. He felt strange energy in the air, like the sky itself was waiting for something. He closed his eyes and began to play. The melody started soft, gentle as falling rain. But as he kept playing, the sound changed. It grew louder, deeper, like it was pulling something out of the world around him. The strings vibrated harder, glowing faintly under his fingers. Elior didn't notice. He was lost in the sound. Far below, in the dark streets, a group of men chased someone through an alley. Their laughter echoed as they cornered a helpless stranger. But just as one of them raised a knife, a sudden gust of wind knocked them back. The air shimmered with blue light. The sound of a low growl rolled through the night, deep and powerful. The men looked up, terrified. For a second, they thought they saw glowing eyes in the clouds. Then, silence. They ran away, screaming, leaving the man trembling in shock. High above, Elior stopped playing. The air felt heavy, charged with energy. He opened his eyes and saw small blue sparks dancing around his guitar strings. He stared in disbelief. What is this?" he whispered. A faint sound answered, a distant roar, almost like thunder but alive. He stood up quickly, his heart racing. He looked toward the horizon and saw something moving in the clouds. It was large, glowing, alive. The shape of a dragon made of blue light twisted across the night sky for only a moment before fading away. Elior dropped his guitar, breathless. "Was that real?" he muttered. "Did I just do that?" He ran to the edge of the rooftop, staring at the sky. The city lights flickered for a few seconds and then returned to normal. The streets were quiet again. Elior stood frozen, trying to make sense of what happened. But deep inside he felt it, the connection. Somehow his music had called something. The next day the city buzzed with strange news. People were talking about a glowing creature seen flying above the rooftops. Some said it was a drone. Others said it was lightning, shaped like a dragon. Elior listened quietly as his co-workers discussed it. "Man, did you see the footage? Looked like a freaking dragon." "Fake. Gotta be CGI." "No way, the news said even the power grid glitched last night." He said nothing, but his hands trembled slightly as he tuned a guitar. In his mind, he could still hear that roar, That night he went back to the rooftop again. The city was silent. The wind carried a faint hum. He sat down, picked up his guitar, and whispered, "If you can hear me, show me again." He began to play. The same blue light flickered in the sky, faint at first, then brighter. A giant shadow formed among the clouds. Two glowing eyes opened slowly. The air vibrated with deep sound, half growl, half harmony. Elias stopped, his eyes wide. "It's real," he whispered, and far above him, the glowing dragon spread its wings for the first time in centuries, called back to life by the music of a quiet young man no one had ever noticed. The city woke up to chaos. Every news channel, every social media feed, every conversation carried the same question. What was that glowing creature in the sky last night? Some said it was a secret military experiment. Others claimed it was a hologram. But one old man from the neighborhood swore he saw a real dragon made of blue light flying over the rooftops. Elior watched all this silently from his small room. His hands were still shaking. He hadn't slept all night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same image, the glowing eyes in the clouds watching him. He whispered to himself, "It can't be real. It just can't." But deep down, he knew it was. That evening, Elior went back to the rooftop again. The city lights blinked below, like stars trapped on the ground. He carried his old guitar, but this time he felt nervous. The air felt heavy again, almost alive. He sat down and touched the strings carefully. For a moment he hesitated, afraid of what might happen. But curiosity was stronger than fear. He began to play. The sound was soft at first. The wind carried the melody far across the city. Then, just like before, a faint blue glow shimmered around him. The clouds began to swirl, forming a spiral above the buildings. A deep humming filled the air. Not thunder, not wind. Something else. Something ancient. Elior's eyes widened as the blue light grew brighter. And then he saw it again. The dragon. Its body was made of pure light, like living energy. Its wings spread wide, stretching across the night sky. It looked both terrifying and beautiful, like a living storm. The dragon's eyes glowed brighter as it looked down at him. Elior stopped playing. His heart pounded in his chest. For a few seconds, they simply stared at each other, human and creature, connected by invisible sound. Then the dragon turned away and roared. The sound echoed across the city, shaking windows and car alarms. And somewhere far below, in the dark streets, something happened. 3 masked men were breaking into a jewelry store. They laughed as they smashed the glass and grabbed the gold. But suddenly the air turned cold. Their breath turned white. A blue light flashed. The dragon appeared above them, silent but furious. It didn't attack. It just looked down, its glowing eyes full of judgment. The men dropped everything and ran, screaming. Later, police found them unconscious, lying in the alley, surrounded by strange burn marks, shaped like dragon scales. News spread quickly. Mysterious light stops robbery. Blue dragon saves the city? Guardian spirit or alien weapon? No one could explain it. But the dragon always appeared after Elior played. Days passed, and Elior's life changed completely. He could no longer pretend it wasn't real. Every time he played his guitar, the dragon responded. Sometimes it circled above him gently, as if listening. Sometimes it roared, chasing away the wicked. It never harmed innocent people, only those who had done evil. Elior didn't understand how. But somehow the creature could feel justice in the sound. One night, as he sat on the rooftop, a strange humming sound interrupted him. He turned around and saw a small drone hovering nearby with a blinking red light. Someone was recording him. The next morning, a video appeared online. Mysterious musician controls dragon with guitar. It went viral. Millions of people watched it, sharing and commenting. Some called him a hero, others called him a danger. Soon, people began to search for him. But Elior stayed hidden. He didn't want fame. He didn't want attention. He just wanted answers. Meanwhile, in a government science lab across the city, Dr. Lena Torres, a physicist who studied energy waves, watched the same video with serious eyes. She replayed the footage in slow motion, studying the blue light patterns. "These energy signatures," she whispered. "They're ancient. They match the myths." On her screen, she compared the patterns to old historical data, energy readings from an ancient artifact found decades ago. The waveforms matched perfectly. She frowned. "It's not just music, it's resonance. He's triggering something alive." She made a note. "Find the source. Track the musician." Back on his rooftop, Elior continued to play. He noticed that the dragon's behavior changed with his emotions. When he felt calm, the creature glowed softly and moved gracefully. When he felt angry or sad, the sky darkened and lightning sparked around its wings. It was as if the dragon was a reflection of his soul, his feelings made real. He spoke softly into the night. "Who are you? Why do you come when I play?" The dragon hovered in the distance, glowing brighter. Then for the first time it made a sound that was not a roar, a low musical hum that echoed his own melody. It was answering him. Elior's heart pounded. He played a few more notes, and the dragon responded again, a duet between man and creature. The music was beautiful, but it carried something heavy, something powerful. He felt it deep inside, a bond forming between them. But somewhere far away, Dr. Torres had already traced his signal. She was coming for him, and others, more dangerous people, had seen the same video. The world was beginning to notice the quiet musician who could call dragons with his song. The world had changed overnight. Every news channel talked about the blue dragon and the mysterious musician who could summon it. Some called it a miracle. Others called it a threat. People started calling Elior the Sound Summoner. His rooftop had become a legend, a place where the impossible had happened. But while people argued and speculated, Elior stayed silent. He didn't care about fame. He only wanted to understand what the dragon truly was. For 3 days, he didn't play. He avoided the rooftop, trying to live a normal life. But something was wrong. He could feel the dragon's presence, like an echo inside his chest. When he closed his eyes, he heard faint growls and saw flashes of blue light behind his eyelids. The creature was calling him. On the 4th night, Elior gave in. He took his guitar and climbed the stairs to the rooftop again. The city below was restless. Police sirens, angry voices, the tension of a frightened world. He sat down and whispered, "All right. If you're real, come again." He played. The first note floated into the night air, soft and trembling. Then came another and another, a haunting melody that carried through the wind. Almost immediately the sky darkened. Clouds rolled in, glowing faintly blue, and then a roar. The dragon appeared, larger and brighter than before. Its body shimmered like liquid crystal, wings stretching across half the skyline. Lightning crackled along its scales. The city stopped. Cars halted, people pointed at the sky, cameras flashed. The dragon roared again, and the whole city felt it. Windows shook, lights flickered, Elior froze in fear. "What's happening to you?" he whispered, but before he could stop playing, a loud explosion erupted in the distance. A building had caught fire, a warehouse used by a known criminal gang. The dragon turned its glowing head toward it. Without hesitation, it dove from the sky like a comet. People screamed as the creature flew over the streets, its wings glowing with fire and light. It circled the burning warehouse once, then released a blast of blue energy. The fire vanished instantly, but when the smoke cleared, the gang members were lying unconscious, surrounded by strange marks, glowing, shaped like scales. Police arrived minutes later. They found the criminals alive but terrified. They all said the same thing. The dragon, it knew. It came for us. The next morning the city buzzed with fear. Was the dragon protecting them or controlling them? Government officials began searching for Elior. Scientists wanted to study him. The military wanted to use him. And others wanted to silence him, but before they could find him, Dr. Lena Torres did. That night, as Elior sat alone in the shop fixing a guitar, he felt someone watching him. When he turned, a woman in a dark coat stood at the door. She had sharp eyes, and held a small metal device that glowed faintly. "Elia Gray?" she asked. "Who are you?" he said quietly. "My name is Dr. Lena Torres. I'm here to help you. Help me. You don't even know me." "Actually, I do. You're the one playing the melody that wakes the dragon." Elior froze. His hands tightened on the guitar. "Then you should leave," he said. "I don't want trouble." Dr. Torres stepped closer. "Listen to me. What you're calling isn't just a myth. It's an energy being, something ancient that responds to emotion through sound waves. Your music creates the frequency it follows." Elia stared at her in disbelief. "You're saying I control it?" She shook her head. "No, it's not about control. It's about connection. You and the dragon are linked. When you play, it reacts to your feelings." Elior looked down. "Then why does it attack people?" "Because it judges what you feel. If you play with anger or fear, it responds with violence." He went silent. That night, when the warehouse exploded, he had been angry, thinking about injustice and crime in the city. The dragon had acted on his emotion. Dr. Torres placed the glowing device on the table. "This machine can read energy patterns. I've seen readings like this only once before. In old legends from Asia and the Middle East. Stories of dragons born from human emotion, awakened by sound." Elior whispered. "Then it's alive." "Yes, but it's unstable. And if it grows stronger, it could destroy the city." He looked up sharply. "No, it wouldn't," she sighed. "You can't be sure. These things don't understand limits. You have to learn to control it before others try to control you." Outside, thunder rumbled. Elior's heart raced. He could feel the dragon again, restless, waiting. Dr. Torres looked toward the window. "It's responding to you right now. Do you feel it?" He nodded slowly. "It feels angry. Then something nearby is feeding that anger," she said. "Something wrong." At that moment, gunshots echoed from the street. A robbery in progress, men with masks running into a bank. Elior grabbed his guitar instinctively. "Wait!" Dr. Torres shouted. "Don't!" But he was already running up the stairs. On the rooftop, the wind was howling. Elior lifted his guitar and began to play, desperate and scared. The dragon burst through the clouds with a deafening roar, wings glowing brighter than ever. It swooped toward the street, surrounding the bank in blue fire. The robbers screamed, dropping their weapons. The dragon roared again, and they collapsed, trembling in terror. Elior's song slowed. His fear faded, replaced by calm. The dragon stopped its attack, hovering in the air, as if waiting for his next note. Dr. Torres appeared beside him, panting. "You see?" she said softly. "It listens to you." Elior looked at the glowing creature above the city. "Then maybe I can make it stop fighting," he whispered. "Maybe I can teach it peace." But deep inside, he knew peace would not come easily. The world had seen the dragon now, and the city would never be the same again. The next few nights were not peaceful. The city couldn't sleep. Every sound, every shadow, every flash of blue light made people look up, wondering if the dragon had returned. Some called it a guardian. Some called it a curse. But everyone agreed on one thing. The world had changed. Since the quiet musician appeared, Elior stayed. Hidden, Dr. Lena Torres had taken him to an old research center, far from the city, a safe place where they could study what was happening. It was quiet there. No reporters, no crowds, only the sound of wind and silence. He sat in a large empty room with his guitar resting beside him. Dr. Torres stood near a screen showing waveforms of sound energy. "Every time you play," she explained, "your emotions create a special frequency. That frequency awakens the dragon. It responds directly to your heart." Elior looked at the glowing lines on the screen. They moved with every small sound he made. "So, if I'm calm, it's calm," he said softly. She nodded. "Exactly. But if you lose control, if you play with anger or fear, the dragon becomes violent. It mirrors you." Elior stared at his hands. "Then it's my fault," he whispered. Dr. Torres shook her head. "No, it's not about fault. It's about understanding your power." That night, Elior decided to test it. He sat alone under the stars, his guitar resting on his knees. He took a deep breath and began to play, slow, gentle notes full of peace. The sky shimmered faintly, and the dragon appeared, glowing softly like moonlight. It circled above him, silent and calm. Elior smiled. "You're beautiful," he whispered. "You don't want to fight, do you?" The dragon lowered its head slightly, as if it understood. Its eyes glowed a calm blue, reflecting his gentle music. For the first time, Elior felt safe. He realized he could guide the dragon through emotion, not control it, but communicate. But peace never lasts for long. Across the city, people with darker motives were watching him. The video of Elior's dragon call had spread across the world. A secret organization known as the Syndicate saw opportunity. They wanted the dragon, not for peace, but for power. The Syndicate's leader, a man named Ryder Kane, watched Elior's footage with a cold smile. "A creature that reacts to sound," he said. "Then we'll make the sound ourselves." They sent their agents to steal recordings of Elior's music from online videos and news broadcasts. With powerful equipment, they tried to recreate the melody in a hidden lab, and one night, they succeeded. In the quiet suburbs, Elior woke suddenly. The air was cold, the ground trembled. He ran outside and saw two glowing dragons in the sky. One was his, calm and blue. The other, wild, unstable, its color burning red and violet, roaring like thunder. Dr. Torres ran out after him. "Someone's using your sound," she shouted. "It's an imitation, a corrupted version." The fake melody echoed through the air, full of anger and distortion. The red dragon shrieked, blasting energy across the clouds. Elior grabbed his guitar and climbed onto the rooftop. "I can stop it," he said. Dr. Torres grabbed his arm. "No, if you connect to that chaos, it could kill you." He looked at her with calm eyes. "If I don't, it'll destroy everything." Elior started to play. His fingers moved fast, the notes pure and full of courage. The blue dragon roared in answer, flying straight toward the red one. Above the city, light and sound collided, two melodies clashing in the sky like living storms. Blue fire met red lightning. The sound was deafening. People watched from their windows as the sky burned with color. Elior's hands trembled. His heartbeat matched the rhythm. He could feel the dragon's pain and his own. The red melody was strong, filled with rage. It pushed against him, trying to take control. Dr. Torres shouted, "Stay calm. If you lose focus, it wins." Elior closed his eyes. He thought of the first night he played, the quiet peace he felt when no one noticed him, when the world was still. He let that memory fill his heart. The music changed. The melody became soft again, warm, kind, forgiving. The blue dragon glowed brighter, its light washing over the red one. The corrupted creature screamed, then slowly dissolved into particles of light, vanishing into the sky. Silence returned. Elior dropped his guitar, exhausted. Dr. Torres ran to him. "You did it," she said breathlessly. "You saved the city again." But Elior didn't smile. He looked at the stars and whispered, "They'll try again. They won't stop until they own it." She nodded quietly. "Then we have to stay ahead. You must learn everything about your power. The dragon is linked to your soul. If they break that link, they could control it instead of you." Elior clenched his fists. "Then I'll never let them. I'll protect it, and the people, no matter what." That night, the city was quiet again. But in the distance, Ryder Kane watched from a tall building. He turned off the monitor showing Elior's performance and smiled darkly. "So, the boy thinks he's in control," he said. "Let's see how long that lasts." And far above, hidden behind the clouds, the blue dragon drifted silently through the stars, its glowing eyes watching the city below. It was calm now, but deep inside, a storm was waiting to rise again. Days turned into nights, and the world slowly began to fear what it didn't understand. The blue dragon's appearance had shaken everyone, the government, the people, and especially those who wanted to use its power. Elior and Dr. Lena Torres stayed hidden in the old research center. Every day she helped him train. He practiced controlling his emotions while playing different melodies. Each sound produced different reactions from the dragon: peace, anger, lightning, rain. Elior was learning fast. But with every new skill, his connection to the creature grew stronger and heavier. Sometimes he woke up in the middle of the night, gasping for breath, feeling as if something huge was watching him through the dark. Dr. Torres tried to comfort him. "You're linked, Elior," she said softly. "It feels what you feel." He nodded. "Then it must know I'm afraid." Meanwhile, the world was changing around them. The syndicate, led by Ryder Kane, was no longer working in the shadows. They had stolen Elior's recordings and learned how to twist his melody into something dangerous. Their scientists called it the echo signal. It could awaken the dragon's power, but in a corrupted, unstable form. Ryder stood in his high-tech command center, watching blue holograms flicker in front of him. "Soon," he said to his team, "we won't need the boy at all. His song belongs to us now." He smiled, the kind of smile that never reached his eyes. Back at the lab, Dr. Torres received an anonymous message. It was encrypted, with no sender name. The message read, "They have your data. Someone in your team betrayed you. Get out! Now!" Her eyes widened. She turned to Elior. "Pack your things. We've been compromised." Elior looked confused. "What do you mean? Who would—" She stopped him. "I don't know. But someone inside the research center is working for the syndicate." They quickly gathered their notes, the energy scanners, and Elior's guitar. As they ran through the hallway, alarms suddenly blared. Security doors slammed shut. Red lights flashed. "Unauthorized exit detected," a robotic voice said. Elior shouted, "They found us!" Dr. Torres turned to him. "Go to the roof, I'll meet you there." He hesitated. "I'm not leaving you." She looked him straight in the eyes. "If they capture you, they'll control the dragon. Go!" Elior ran. He reached the rooftop and looked around desperately. The city lights glittered in the distance. The sky was dark and full of clouds. He lifted his guitar, his hands trembling. "Please," he whispered. "I need you now." He began to play. The sound was shaky at first, then stronger, echoing across the city like a heartbeat. The clouds stirred, glowing blue. The dragon appeared once more, roaring in fury as if sensing Elior's fear. Wind exploded across the rooftop. Elior climbed onto the ledge. "We have to go," he shouted. The dragon lowered its glowing head. Elior jumped, landing softly on its back as it rose into the sky, wings spreading wide like a storm. Down below, Dr. Torres was caught by syndicate agents. They dragged her into the control room, where Ryder Kane stood waiting. "Well," he said, smirking, "you've been a great help, Doctor." She glared at him. "You betrayed me. You stole our research." He laughed. "You make it sound personal. It's not betrayal, it's business. With your data, we can summon 1,000 dragons and control them all." She spat back. "You don't understand what you're playing with. That power isn't meant to be controlled." Ryder leaned closer. "Then watch me." He pressed a button on the console. A distorted version of Elior's melody began to play. Loud, mechanical, cruel. High in the sky, Elior felt a sudden pain in his chest. The dragon screamed, its body shaking violently. "What's happening?" Elior shouted, holding on tight. Dr. Torres, watching from below, yelled, "They're using your music! They're forcing the signal!" The blue glow around the dragon turned red. Its roar grew deeper, angry, unstable. Elior tried to stop it, but the creature began thrashing in the air, breaking windows and setting off car alarms below. He screamed, "Please stop! Listen to me!" But the dragon didn't listen. It wasn't the same anymore. It was being controlled by the stolen song. Lightning tore across the sky. Buildings shook. The people screamed. The once peaceful guardian had become a monster. Elior could barely hold on as the dragon dived toward the syndicate's tower. He knew it wasn't his creature anymore. It was theirs. He remembered Dr. Torres's words. If they break your link, they can control it instead of you. And that's exactly what had happened. Tears filled his eyes. I have to take it back, he whispered. He closed his eyes and pressed his hands against the guitar, letting his emotions pour out. He began to play again, not with anger, but with sorrow. The melody was soft, broken, full of pain. It carried through the storm, reaching the dragon's heart. The red light began to fade, replaced by a flicker of blue. But just as the dragon started calming down, a gunshot rang out. Eleor gasped. Dr. Torres had been shot trying to destroy the control system. She fell to the floor, clutching her side, whispering his name through the radio. Eleor, don't stop playing. It listens to you. Her voice faded. Eleor screamed, his melody turning fierce once again, not out of hate but out of love. The dragon roared back, breaking free from the signal completely. It turned its burning eyes toward the Syndicate's tower and unleashed a blinding beam of blue light. The tower exploded into flames. Ryder Kane barely escaped. When the smoke cleared, the city lay silent. The dragon vanished into the clouds, leaving behind nothing but falling ash. Eleor sat on a broken rooftop, staring into the sky, tears rolling down his face. Dr. Torres was gone. And now the world would see him, not as a hero, but as a destroyer. Far away, Ryder's voice echoed through a damaged radio. He thinks it's over, but this is just the beginning. Eleor looked up at the night sky, where faint blue light shimmered between the stars. He whispered softly, I won't let you fall again. I'll bring you peace. But deep down, he knew the storm was only sleeping, and one day it would wake again. The city was silent. Smoke still rose from the ruins where the Syndicate Tower once stood. The sky glowed faintly blue, like an afterimage of the dragon's power. Eleor sat on the edge of a broken rooftop, his guitar beside him, his hands trembling. He could still hear the echo of his last song, the one that had destroyed everything. Dr. Lena Torres was gone. The Syndicate had vanished into the shadows, and the dragon, his only connection to something greater, had disappeared into the clouds. He looked down at the empty streets below. People whispered his name now, not as a savior, but as a curse. Some called him a weapon. Others said he was the cause of the destruction. Eleor felt hollow. The power that once felt beautiful now felt heavy, dangerous. He whispered to himself, I never wanted this. I only wanted peace. For days he hid from the world. He wandered the ruins, searching for signs of life or forgiveness. But everywhere he went, he saw fear in people's eyes. One evening, as rain poured over the city, Eleor took shelter in a burned-out church. The air smelled of smoke and wet stone. He sat near a shattered window and picked up his guitar again. His fingers brushed the strings gently. A single note echoed through the empty space, soft, sad, and human. Suddenly the floor began to tremble. A faint blue glow appeared outside the window, growing brighter with each heartbeat. The rain hissed against the heat in the air. Eleor stood up. His eyes widened. Through the storm, a familiar shape emerged. Wings of light, eyes like twin stars. The dragon had returned. It circled above the church, roaring softly like it was calling out to him. Eleor ran outside, the rain soaking through his clothes. Why are you here? He shouted. The dragon didn't answer in words, but he could feel its voice in his mind, like a song without sound. Your melody still lives. The world still needs it. Eleor shook his head. No, I can't control it anymore. It only brings pain. The dragon's glow flickered. Then play. Not for power, but for peace. For a moment, everything went silent. Even the rain seemed to pause in the air. Eleor looked at the city. Broken buildings, shattered glass, but people slowly coming out of hiding. He saw fear in their eyes, but also hope. They were waiting. He took a deep breath and lifted his guitar once more. The wind picked up as he strummed the first note. This time, the melody was different. It wasn't angry or sad. It was calm, pure and full of heart. Each note carried forgiveness. Each sound whispered healing. And the dragon responded, glowing brighter, circling the city with wings that left trails of blue light. People came out into the streets, watching in awe as the sky turned beautiful again. Children pointed upward, laughing for the first time in weeks. The world began to breathe again. But deep within the glow, Elior felt something changing. His connection with the dragon was fading. He understood then this would be his final song. He smiled softly, even as tears mixed with the rain. If this is the end, let it be beautiful. The dragon roared one last time, a sound both sad and powerful. It hovered above him, wings folding inward, its light growing brighter and brighter. The music and the dragon became one, melody and flame, sound and spirit. The entire city was bathed in blue light, and when it faded, Idir was gone. The next morning the sun rose over a quiet, peaceful city. The air felt fresh, the sky clear for the first time in years. People whispered stories that the boy who played the Song of the Dragon had vanished into the light, leaving behind peace. Dr. Torres's students rebuilt the lab in her memory. At the center of the city square, they placed a statue, a young man holding a guitar, looking toward the sky. At its base, an inscription read, "He played not for power, but for peace. His melody still protects us." Years later, a little girl found an old guitar in a dusty shop. When she touched its strings, a faint blue spark glowed beneath her fingers. She smiled and began to play. Somewhere above the clouds, a deep rumble echoed, soft, distant, like a dragon breathing in its sleep. The end. And so, the quiet young man who once feared his gift became the melody that saved the world. His music still echoes through time, reminding us that even the softest tune can awaken the mightiest power.